Hi everybody, welcome back to another weekly review for F45 trading. For the week of Monday, September 23rd to Friday, September 22nd, 7th, sorry, we have a very interesting economic calendar ahead of us. I'll bring that up here right now. So tomorrow, the time of this recording, it is Sunday evening. Markets have opened up for the Sunday range. And we can see that the Euro USD, or sorry, the Euro, I should say, has a number of different medium and high impact news events to start out the early London Open session for Monday. So coming up here in the next few hours. So we're going to see a little bit of movement on the Euro, and then it continues into Draghi speaking at 9 a.m. New York time, at 9 a.m. New York time. And he's going to be talking, and then we go into some U.S. dollar medium impact flash manufacturing, and then we have a couple FOMC members speaking. So all in all, Monday, it's going to be a fairly, I think, moving day, essentially, for the Euro. I think we're going to see a lot of movement. Going to make up for a lot of ground that it didn't really do last week. I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. And then going into Tuesday, we have some more medium impact Euro news, Australian dollar news, and then we have CB consumer confidence at 10 a.m. New York time on Tuesday. So nothing too major on that news front for Tuesday. Nothing to be worried about there. Going into Wednesday, two more FOMC members speaking, and then we have, of course, crude oil inventories, 10:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. So watch out for that if you guys are trading crude oil. Make sure you don't have any open positions while that's on, just in case, because you never know what could happen, especially with all the stuff going on in the foreign market with crude oil over in Saudi Arabia. So going into Thursday, Thursday is going to be a bit of an interesting day. We have final GDP quarterly results coming out for the U.S. dollar at 8:30 a.m. New York time, and then we have two big speeches, one from Draghi and one from Carney, ECB and the Bank of England. So watch out for those two. They're both early, 9:30 and 9:45 respectively at New York time on Thursday. And then we have an FOMC press conference later that day. So Thursday, I think, could be a little bit jittery, so just watch out for that one. I wouldn't, if you are trading Thursday, I would maybe dial back the leverage a little bit. Just be very cognizant as to when these news events are coming up, and so you can prepare yourself for those accordingly. Then going into Friday, we have a medium impact news event for the cable and two high impact news events for the U.S. dollar, followed by a whole bunch more medium impact news events for the rest of the day, all starting at 8:30 a.m. Friday. So all in all, the week's shaping up to be pretty good. Nothing too major that you have to worry about. Again, the Euro is probably going to see a little bit of movement here in the next few hours with all of these high-impact news events for the French and German flash services. And then Draghi speaking again at 9 a.m. New York time on Monday. So watch for that. Okay, going into the markets here. We have the U.S. dollar, and as you can see, there is not a whole bunch going on with the U.S. dollar, unfortunately. It has been back and forth in this trading range for the past 5 or 6 days. So unfortunately, all of last week and so far, we're opening up right in the middle of the range here. I was hoping we were going to break out and see price break down below this low here and try to stretch for the 97.11, 97.10 level. We didn't get that. We saw a brief run down into here last Friday, and then we retraded right back up into the middle of that range. I'm looking for this thing to go higher and break above the 98.35 level. I didn't even get up there. It's really staying very stagnant. Now, they could be waiting for a few things. Obviously, this week, a couple of big press conferences and some speeches. There could be some hint at some sort of either a continuation higher or a reversal lower for the dollar coming up this week. So we're gonna have to watch for that. But so far, until we get out of this range, it's pretty tough to say whether or not we're going higher or lower. I mean, I think that if we were going to go higher, I think price personally, I believe we would have been pushing up towards that last week and trying to at least take out this high. But you see this big failure swing in here and then a big drop lower. And price has not been willing to get up there. Now we're just really starting to drop into a big sort of a compressed triangle, and I kind of think we could be coming out lower. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping this week we're going to break out of this range and get back to some normalcy. So we'll have to just wait and see on the US dollar to confirm the directional bias. So wait and see what Tuesday brings out, and I think we'll probably get a better idea on Tuesday. But right now, until price starts to get out of this range, higher or lower, it's a little bit tough to tell. So if anything, I mean, you can pretty much bank off of this. If you were looking at this to keep continuing, we can look at the high coming in here probably early this week, and then it probably coming back down into here, into, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday's trading, and then maybe Thursday come back up and Friday back down. Who knows? More sideways action though until we're out of here. Going to the Euro USD, that's a little bit tight to see. Let me zoom in a bit. You can see in here we've got some equal highs up in here that they haven't wanted to. Sorry guys, my phone's going off. They haven't wanted to run above lately, and we really tried to get up to here last Thursday and then last Friday right here. Price really hasn't wanted to show any willingness to get above there. Staying pretty heavy so far, really working this range, but you can see in here, price has not really wanted to move lower than this candle right here. It's come down a few times. Sorry, this one candle right here came back down, and I'm talking more so the bodies of the candles. We've been staying above the 109.90 level on the dailies. So if that's going to continue, I think that they're going to try to run price higher. If this is the low, now keep in mind here, and I'm going to move this down so we can see it a little bit better. If I can get a hold of this trend line. You can see that we had two almost perfect equal lows right there between this candle and this candle. This candle just failing to get below there. So we do definitely have some orders stacking up underneath here where everyone could be residing their stops. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came down and shot below that one time. But again, we'll have to wait and see. If they are going to do it, it's going to be early in the week with all the news events coming in on Monday, Monday's trading. So like I say, in the next few hours here, we could see that happen. So we'll be watching for that. But I think that they've been really trying to push up into here, and they have not. They've been building a bunch of orders up in here that they haven't come and ran up. So I think there's a very good chance we're going to run above these orders. Whether we get above this high or not is going to be the question. This high right in here. If we run this high here, and that comes in at, you know, 111.10, call it the exact high. 111.09, so call it, you know, 111.10. If we can get above 111.10, I think there's a good chance it could stretch up into this range and maybe stretch for here. That's a tall order, so especially as long as the US dollar continues to chop sideways, the Euro USD is going to go right along with that. And what that means, I believe, is that the trade for the week is going to, again, be in the GbpUsd, or the cable. As you can see, where the Euro USD is stagnant, the pound is moving, or the cable is moving very, very nicely to the upside. We had this sweep below right here, where price ran below, rejected. I like that very, very bullish sign. We came down once, twice in here and expanded again, came back down. It has been chopping sideways for the past few days. The market is definitely waiting for something. And again, like I say, there's a lot of high impact news events coming up this week in relation to speeches and whatnot for the euro, for the pound, and for the US dollar. So this could be what they're waiting for. And I think we have a good chance of stretching up into the 126.50 level. I've had this level on the chart here for a little while. We came close to it on Friday's range. The high came in at 125.82. You know, again, I think there's still about 60 pips there to go. I'll be watching for that target on the week. Now, what would change that is if we come back down and drop below this red line here. So if we come below 123.85, to 123.80, somewhere in that range. Basically, if we break this consolidation range to the downside, then obviously we're going to go back down into here, and they're going to leave this upside target for a little while. But I think what we're going to see happen here is, you can see Euro GBP, this thing has been sliding fast. And I believe the ultimate target is going to be right down here at about 86.80 on the downside. So we still got a little bit of low to go to get there, which is going to add fuel to cable moving higher. And I believe that an upside target of 126.60 to 126.50 on the week is going to be very conservative. I personally believe they have a good chance of running these highs in here. And who knows, we could go even higher than that. We'll have to wait and see once it gets there, see what Euro GBP and the US dollar and everything else on the news front is giving us. Okay, now keep in mind, we are getting very close to all the Brexit exits, so just watch out for that. That's happening more into October. We do have a few weeks left yet, but I just want you to keep that in mind. Just keep it in the back of your mind again. But this is the last week of trading for September. Next Monday is the 30th, and then we have FOMC again coming up in 2 Fridays from now. So after this week, we're the start of October already. Crazy. I can't believe September's gone already that fast. But again, we are creeping. I bring that up because we are creeping to that deal with Brexit, or no deal with Brexit, or whatever they're trying to do there. So that's going to throw a wrench into whatever they're doing here. They could just be stretching this thing up to get above these highs here, and then right around that October timeframe, and then sink this. You know, that's always on the menu as well. So anyway, going forward for the week, I believe we're going to see more bullishness on the cable market. Going into USCAD, we've had a bit of a mixed bag on USCAD. Now, it is trending up higher. We can see this trending higher, but it is really working a sideways pattern getting up there. We are getting higher lows. Each daily close, daily open is higher each time, which is nice to see. But we're starting to creep up to this mark right here, where I think if we do see downside on the US dollar, then we could see a spillover on USCAD. And you can see here, so price ran those highs, those equal highs right there just briefly, and a big rejection to the downside. And then now they're just slowly creeping this back up again to fill this range in. So I believe what we're going to see here is that we're going to see a run up to 133.20. And we're at 132.70 right now, so we're not far off the mark here. We're only about 50 pips away. I want to see what happens when price gets in there. If we start driving above 133.20, then they could be running out for these highs here, and we could be seeing them try to run these highs here, up here, which I've been, again, calling for quite a while. If we cannot get above 133.20, price is going to then basically just go like this, and I think we're going to drop pretty quickly. And I believe they'll be targeting these equal lows down here. So I'm going to be watching for that. And basically, my eyes are going to be on this level here. I'm going to be watching USCAD for the week. Again, crude oil inventory numbers coming up on Wednesday, so that's certainly going to affect it. Monetary policy that came out last week with the Canadian dollar, they dropped the quarter basis point. So we are looking, sorry, that was the Fed, the US dollar. So the Canadian dollar dropped their interest rate a little while ago. So I believe they will probably continue to drop the rate as we go forward in the year, at least once more. So I'm going to be watching for that, and that should offer some significant price movement on the Canadian dollar. So my eyes, like I say, are going to go here for this week. So I'm going to see when they get up here as to how much willingness they want to go above that. If we don't, I'm going to be selling short on the US CAD. That's going to be where my target is going to be, probably this swing low down here. Okay. Australian dollar. This is the hourly chart. Really pushed down, made a new low right here. We've got a couple equal highs on Australian dollar right up here that I'm going to be looking at. I think they're going to have a quick surge to get up into there. And I don't believe we're going to get all the way up into here anytime soon. We'd have to see some real bearishness on the US dollar in order to get prices way back up here. But for now, if you look at this, we consolidated in here, dropped down, created a new low, and then rose back up and came right back down into this range. So I think there is a good chance we could see this drop a little bit lower this week. but I am looking for them to either A, run these highs first and then come down, or B, just run right back down into this level here that I'm looking at on the daily. So this would be the ultimate target, as long as we still have continuation to the downside. And you can see this price has been sliding quite nicely. So I'm going to be watching the Australian dollar price here. If we see some willingness to drop in here at these lows in here, you can see that right there. If we see them drop into here, then I'll be targeting down here. Not a big range, of course. We're only talking about, maybe about 40 pips or so. And if we start to break above this level here, if it's looking pretty bullish, then I'll be looking for a run above these highs and a potential, stop run up to about 68.15 there. So that's what I'm looking for on Australian dollar. And once we get up there, I would imagine we could see a return back lower for the Aussie. But again, we'll have to wait and see. This was the price move that I was talking about. Price came down, ran that low just briefly right there, exploded to the upside. Now, when they ran to the upside, they did not take out the highs here at all. And they took the highs out here, but they did not take them here. So they could be coming back for those eventually. But I think there's a little more downside on Australian dollar before it goes back up there. Okay, so that's what I'm watching for here. Finally, crude oil. If you've been following the news in the Middle East, you'd know what's going on. I'm not going to get into that here. Have a look at the latest news feeds on that. It was pretty massive, though, the damage that was done to their facility. And they say they can come back. The Sauds come in and they're saying that they can replace that capacity very quickly. Yes, they can replace it very quickly with existing storage. Now, however, we're going to see crude oil inventories here this week on Wednesday. It's going to be very interesting to see the draw that was placed on them from last week after the news. And we could see this thing really spike up. So I'm watching. I don't know on this one if we're going to have a gap fill or not. I really hope there's a gap fill. Price comes down. I'm going to be all over this thing for a long if we can get in on a gap fill on this and something like that. But I don't know that that's going to happen. So far this week, we started out with a little bit of a gap, as you can see here. They've almost come down and filled that. But you can see what they did last week. They basically, this was the big surge on Monday. Last Monday after the news came out, and then they dropped price quite a bit. And I was looking for further downside, but they've just been pushing price sideways. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was straight sideways. So I think what we're going to see here is probably more the same. I'm hoping price is going to start heating up going into Monday, but I think they could be waiting for crude oil inventory numbers on Wednesday to drop, and then we could see some real action. So I'm going to be watching for that. So I'm going to hold off. I'm hoping on the gap fill down here. I'm going to be watching for that. We could even get short into that. But to be honest with you guys, any move above these highs right here, I believe we're going to see a move up back into the 60s very, very quickly. Okay, and who knows beyond that? Again, if these numbers come out that there was a significant draw on crude oil inventory storage numbers, then we could see this thing above 66 in a real big hurry. So watch for that. Okay, that's all I got for you guys this week for the free stuff. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever you can do on my YouTube channel here. That would be much appreciated. Tell a friend. Try and get the numbers up and create the awareness a little bit more if we can. And if you are a member, I will be back for our usual Tuesday breakdown for London Open. And I will be in the charts tomorrow as well, too. So we will catch up to you then. Thanks for watching, everybody.